Hello everybody, myself Dr. Mahesh, a general physician. In my previous video, I have explained clearly about modes and settings of NIV. In this present video, I want to explain about wave patterns of NIV. So, to understand this video clearly, kindly watch my previous video. Here we can see a patient is on NIV, CPAP by PSV mode. So, in this video, we can see three waveforms here on the monitor: the top one, middle one, and lower one. The top one is pressure versus time. The middle one is flow versus time. The lower one is tidal volume. To understand these waveforms very clearly, let's go step by step. Let's take this pressure versus time waveform. So here we can see one positive wave, one flat line. One positive wave and one flat line sequentially. So the positive wave indicates inspiration and expiration. The flat line indicates end expiration. So here this duration is inspiration duration, and this is the expiration, and this is flat line is end expiration. Here we can see that the flat line indicates PEEP, the positive end expiratory pressure, because during end expiration, the pressure must drop to 0, but here it is a flat line above the 0, somewhere around 8. So, the PEEP is present here. When the flat line is ending into the positive wave, we can note in between the flat line and positive wave one small negative deflection. That deflection is nothing but a spontaneous breath initiated by patient. The spontaneous breath initiated by patient will create a negative pressure in the chest, in the lungs. So this is represented here by a small negative deflection here. So in the middle wave, we can see one wave is oscillating around a 0 liters per minute. It is a flow wave. It's indicated for liters per minute. So the red part of this wave is above the baseline, and this indicates inspiratory flow. The blue part of the wave is below the baseline, and it indicates expiration. We can note here that this red part, that is inspiratory flow, is matching with a positive pressure that is applied on the pressure and time wave pattern, and this expiratory flow is matching with PEEP area of pressure versus time curve. The below one, the most bottom one, represent volume. It indicates tidal volume. So we can note here it is touching somewhere around 500. So this mode is nothing but CPAP mode, but during inspiration a pressure support is given. A pressure support of 12 on top of PEEP is kept here. So now let's go to the terminology of P peak, P mean, and pressure support. So we already discussed that pressure support is given during inspiration. After the spontaneous breath is initiated, the pressure support of 12 centimeters of water is given, and after inspiration over, it will come to baseline pressure, which is called as PEEP pressure. So we can see here there is area under curve. So during inspiration the pressure is rising, and during expiration the pressure is maintaining at the PEEP level. So the overall average of these two pressures of total 1 minute duration of respiration is called as P mean. Just like we understand that mean arterial pressure is a combination of systolic and diastolic blood pressures. Here it is a pressure during inspiration and pressure during expiration. Average, if average is taken, then it is a P mean. So we can see here that during inspiration the complete duration of inspiration is not maintaining the same pressure. Somewhere around this point the pressure is touching peak 1. So highest pressure is touching somewhere at the end of inspiration. This pressure is called as P peak. So I hope now you have clarity about P mean and P peak and PEEP. So if you increase P peak and pressure support and PEEP value, the area under curve will increase automatically. so that the P mean will increase automatically. The P mean, as the P mean increases, the oxygenation also improves. Here we can note one point. The pressure support is kept 12 and the PEEP is kept 10. So the peak touched 22. So the pressure support will not give from baseline. The pressure support will give from PEEP value. From PEEP value it will give 12 centimeters of water. So the PEEP value of 10 and pressure support of 12, this both includes the peak pressure of P peak 22. 10 plus 12 22. So here in this picture it is the same mode, CPAP and pressure support mode, but here we can note one point. I have kept pressure support 0. So when I kept pressure support 0, so inspiration is not supported here. So during inspiration patient has to do work. So from PEEP value patient has to create some negative pressure, at least 1 centimeters of H2O to inspiration to occur. So here we can see the wave pattern of pressure versus time is very flat line, but in between we can see if you observe the flow areas where the positive flow is seen, that is during inspiration, you can see on the top of that at the pressure wave you can see a small negative deflection that indicates inspiration. So as I kept the pressure support 0, the inspiration is taken by patient itself and patient is creating the tidal volume necessary by his effort. So as we see here, the P peak and PEEP and P mean and everything is 10 only, because it is a flat line. The wave is nothing but flat line with small deflections during inspiration. So be clear about CPAP alone versus CPAP with pressure support. In CPAP alone, the patient has to do inspiratory effort. There is no pressure support during inspiration. In CPAP with pressure support, the positive pressure is given whenever the patient starts breathing. So if the inspiration is pressure supported. So what we can see here, if we CPAP without pressure support, patient has to create the work of breathing. He has to create a pressure such that the required tidal volume will enter into the lungs. So during this process, the work of breathing will increases. So CPAP with pressure support will avoid the work of breathing of the patient, so it is beneficial to the patient, but at the cost of higher mean pressures. So here we can see the difference between these two modes very clearly. In this one example, I have kept CPAP with pressure support of 12 centimeters of water. So I can see here F total is 20 only. In other example, I have kept CPAP with pressure support of 0 centimeters of water. So here I can see F total increasing up to 26. So that means work of breathing is increasing as I removed the pressure support to the patient. So in previous modes of ventilation like BPAP and CPAP, we have seen that the positive wave of pressure indicate inspiration, the downsloping wave indicate expiration, and the flat line indicate end expiration. But in duolevel ventilation, this is not true. But in duolevel NIV mode, the time is set for some time where pressure is very high. The time is set for some time where the pressure is very low. So the positive pressure wave does not indicate inspiration and the flat wave does not indicate expiration in duolevel mode. Instead, inspiration and expiration can occur during positive pressure wave and negative pressure wave also. Let's see this example. Here, if you see the flow, we can see this red area. Here it is inspiration is happening. So here the positive pressure is coming. So if you see during flat line also some negative deflections are coming. So which indicates, and positive deflections are also coming, which indicate inspiration and expiration occurring even at P low value. This is confirmed by the flow wave where it is denoting exactly below it, it is denoting inspiration occurring and expiration occurring. So inspiration and expiration can occur both during PI and P low. So it is a very misconception among all people that the positive wave is inspiration and the flat line is PEEP value. But it is not true in duolevel mode of settings. And one more thing is, if during low pressure time, if spontaneous breathing is occurring, it can be supported by pressure support as indicated in this ventilator setting. I hope you have understood something about waveforms of NIV mode. In my next video, I am going to explain about how to set properly, how to set inspiratory time and everything properly to improve the proper oxygenation. What are the various settings we have to do to improve proper oxygenations? Stay tuned.
She calls me day and night.